I'm Holo, and these are my 5 essential tracks.
Weet niet wat je er nu van vindt als je luistert naar de woorden.
Even if it makes me blind, I just wanna see the light.
Show, yeah. Check me out.
Five essential tracks starring Holo.
What's up?
Well, a bit confused.
Really? Why?
Why did you bring the guitar?
It all started out with guitars to me. Like, I think 14 years ago I started playing guitar, and it was only 6 years ago that I decided I'm gonna produce electronic music. It all started with me playing guitar and started to get tired of the whole thing, the rock thing,
Yeah.
and trying to explore beats and hip hop music and electronic music. So my first track, I guess, is Under the Bridge from the Chili Peppers.
That's a classic right there.
Yeah.
I don't ever wanna feel like I did that day. Take me to the place I love. Take me all the way. I don't ever wanna feel like I did that day. Take me to the place I love. Take me all the way. Yeah.
It's not the first song I heard. I remember my dad always driving us when we went on holiday, and he had the Californication album from the Chili Peppers in his car, and it was just the sound of that guitar was just so cool, and I started to investigate and buying all their older albums, and then I came across Under the Bridge. Anyway, there's this guitar part that goes like... That chord is just major 7th chord is amazing, and then it goes like... And those ghost notes, that's something that when I first heard that sound of a guitar, that's like, how does he do it? How does that work? And that's the cool thing about guitars, because you can play stuff without sounding like a note. You can like make percussion, you can make drum sounds, and it's such a diverse instrument, and that's what I love about guitars, and that's how my music universe started back then. Yeah.
Track number 2.
Track number 2. So the Chili Pepper stuff was that's how I got into the bands. I remember the first single I ever bought was from Total Touch. Remember something like that. So that was like way before. But this is about the bands that I started to listen to, and of course Blink-182 was all over the radio. The punk band on the radio. And I remember this video of these naked guys running in the street.
Yep.
Such a great video.
Started making out and she took off my pants, but then I turned on the TV, and that's about the time she walked away from me. Nobody likes you when you're 23, and I still more abuse my TV shows. What the hell is ADD? My friends say I should act my age. What's my age again? What's my age again?
I still, even if they would release something like that now, it would still be a great video. It's a timeless video. It's What's My Age Again from Blink-182. Like the guitar part, it goes like... And it's just a simple thing, but it's if you hear this, it's Blink-182.
You're there.
Yeah, it's So that's definitely a track that I can remember listening to 1,000 of times, like a week, like, on my MP3 player. You know that MP3 player with like the thing, like the nudgy thing. That's I listened to that song a lot. And
When did you start picking up the guitar yourself?
I remember that my mom, she told me, because I was really trying hard at school all the time, like I wanted A's, you know, I wanted the best grades, and I wasn't really happy. I was just in my head I had to do good, and my mom was like, you know, you need to find a hobby because
Do something.
doing your homework is not a hobby, you know. So I started playing guitar, and that's when everything went downhill. No, just kidding. That's when definitely my schoolwork dropped, and I started really spending all the time that I used to spend on, you know. And I went to school in Zoetermeer at a school called Erasmus College, and they did a lot in music. So after 2 weeks of playing guitar, they asked me, "Yo, you should play at the onderbouwfeest." You know, like the, how do you say it in English? Onderbouwfeest.
Well, the
Junior
first
parties.
junior
Yeah,
party,
the first grade
junior
parties.
classes, yeah.
Yeah, and I still remember the first show I played when I was guitar, and everyone was screaming and was like, "Oh my god!" And I was this geek, you know,
Yeah.
like, and suddenly I was on the stage and people really liked it, and that's, I think, when I fell in love. So that school definitely supported me a lot in discovering my love for music.
And at this point, was electronic music something that was on your radar as well? Or was it a totally different world, totally different league?
No, I can still remember that I was one of those really, you know, those rock kids that was kind of anti-electronic music.
Wow.
You know, remember? Like,
Yeah, definitely.
I do at some point remember I got into DJing, but then it was the scratching DJs, you know, like that. They were using their turntables to scratch.
And like, for instance, an act like Beastie Boys.
Oh, yes.
Very
Amazing.
band-like,
Yeah.
even though electronic.
Yeah, you remember that single of them, Body Movement?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
That's like, I should have added that to the list as
Well,
well.
we'll just make the 6 essential tracks. No worries.
Sick, yeah. That song, you remember the video when they chop his head off and
Yeah.
it's like super fake? But I was like, I remember me a kid, it was like, wow, dad and mom, check it out. So, definitely. I love them, yeah.
Next track.
So in this time that I started playing guitar, you know, and listening to bands, I suddenly started hearing this guy on TV, and it was this Dutch guy. I don't know why they played it, but like for some reason it got into mainstream, and it's called Spinvis.
Yeah. Wow.
And I'm not sure if it was this track that was on the radio, but it was a track of him which made me investigate about him and look him up on the computer. And I came across Spinvis and this song called Bagagedrager.
Motor draait, de baby huilt, een vogel schreeuwt. De dag begint en de snelweg zuist, de motor draait, de baby huilt, een vogel schreeuwt. De dag begint en de snelweg zuist, de motor.
It's one of the most magic songs of my childhood. Remember, like driving, cycling to school, because we all love bikes in Holland. That's what we all do. We don't take the bus.
No.
We take bikes, and Spinvis has this weird way of having these weird lyrics that are strangely connecting to you for some reason.
Yeah.
And I think that's, I'm like his biggest fan. Like, I never met him in my life, and maybe I don't even want to meet him, because he's like,
He's
he's
like
up there.
godlike.
Yeah. It's, to me, he's godlike, and he did something that no one did before in Dutch music or any music anyway. No one sounds like Spinvis. Yeah. So he is definitely one inspiration. Definitely a big inspiration.
That's so cool to hear.
Shout out to Spinvis. So the next track I picked was my own song. It's called Light.
Yeah.
And it got a little bit of airplay in Holland, not a lot.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No problem.
I just wanna see the light.
decided to start making music on my laptop because I wanted to. I was in bands, and all bands, you know, everyone who's in a band knows it's like a relationship, like the hardest, toughest relationship you'll ever be in, because you have to please everyone in there.
Yeah.
And they all broke up, and you know, the bass player left, and the singer left, and then I was like, I'm gonna do it all myself, and I started making beats and hip hop music and trap music, and then years after, a year ago now from this day, I released Light, and that song became a kind of a underground hit, maybe medium mainstream hit. And I wrote it on an airplane to a city because I was traveling. It features lyrics that go like, even if it makes me blind, I just want to see the light. And it's also about finding the truth, even if the truth is not something you want to hear per se. You know, you want to find the light, even if it makes you blind. It's just about chasing dreams, and yeah, and it's just a song. If you listen to it, it really resembles what I do. It's melodic. It goes hard still, and it's got my sound. So if you want to hear a Holo song, you listen to that song and you kind of know what I'm doing. So the last track is Still Dr. Dre by Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg.
Wow.
That was the first song that I realized was a hip hop.
You way up on things.
Dr. Dre be the name, still running the game, still got it wrapped like a mummy. Still ain't tripping, love to see young blacks get money. Spend time out the hood, take their moms out the hood. Hit my boys off with jobs, no more living hard. Barbecues every day, driving fancy cars. Still gon' get my regard.
I never really listened to hip hop before, like listening to bands, and then I came across that song. I was like, wow, this is so cool. That part that goes like. It's like, it's just that track just resembles hip hop for me. It's like so big, and that really inspired me to make a lot of beats and really get into the hip hop stuff. And so that's an important track for me as well.
Well, thank you so much for taking your time for taking me on a journey through your musical history.
Thank you too for having me. So if you like this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and check out my music.